If you're a coach, consultant, or founder who's struggling to create content, then this video is for you. You've probably tried it all. You film when you can, you write when you feel inspired, maybe you edit at 1 a.m. just so you can stay consistent. Maybe you even tried outsourcing it to a part-time editor. But even if you try all that, without a real system, content will always feel like a full-time job. Today I'm walking you through the exact systems that we use to speed up our content creation process, both for ourselves and for our clients, while making sure that every video that you post is actually working towards your business goals. So let's just get straight into it. So this is how I spend a day for a month's worth of content. Now this is the document that goes through everything. This is the step-by-step, the play-by-play, and it is a 22-page document. My goodness, it took a while to put this together. But this does go over in detail what you need to do to be able to create our systems, and you can actually replicate this for yourself. Grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, sit down and go through the entire video. Take a few notes and you'll come out of this with a full-on content system as long as you actually implement it. This is your current situation, this is your problem. Most people treat content like a chore. You open your camera, you film, you post, and then repeat. No system, no structure, just absolute chaos. Because of that, you waste hours and hours and hours just thinking of what to say, and you burn out trying to keep up with the latest trends. Worst of all, you don't even know if it's working. This has you thinking, how do I film? What do I post? Is this even working? You have to deal with bad editors. You feel like you need to go viral. You feel like you always don't have any time to actually create the content. I want you to realize that this isn't a content problem. It's a system problem. Without a system, you are doing things in hard mode. And you're not just inconsistent, you're losing headspace, you're losing time, and you're losing a lot of sales. Now, every week, you're starting from scratch, staring at the blank doc, guessing what to post, wasting hours trying to get just one decent video out, only to realize it's not even aligned with your business. Now, the problem here is you're having to deal with wasted time spent thinking instead of actually creating. There's a lot of missed revenue because you're not able to post consistently. You're not top of mind with the people, with the audience that you're speaking to. So your clients eventually end up forgetting that you even exist. There is low trust because inconsistent content actually kills your credibility. If you haven't been posting for a month, people will think that you've actually left the game. You're no longer in business. This will cause you burnout because there's no structure. There's scattered focus, and there's of course emotional fatigue that comes with getting burnt out of doing so much work with not enough output to show for. And there's missed momentum. You're not able to actually capitalize on the momentum that you build when it comes to creating content. Instead of building compounding trust, you're just starting over every single time. This is why we actually created the Creator Engine system. This is our exact blueprint to create a month's worth of content in just one day. So if you're struggling with content and you are feeling these problems, you feel like you're wasting your time, you're not hitting your revenue marks, there's low trust within your audience, you have a lot of problems when it comes to the sales calls, you face a lot of objections, you dread trying to record or script or just anything regarding the content creation process, and you're not building any momentum for your business, then this system will solve all of that for you. Now, here is the full breakdown. So you start off with the content compass. This is how you're able to get all of the information that you need with the research, with audience clarity, with dialing in your ICP. So the first thing you need to do is to actually get crystal clear on who your audience is. What are they struggling with? What are they Googling at 2 a.m.? Who do they already believe? And this is pretty crucial. We study your market, so your content doesn't actually speak to them, it speaks for them. You're taking their words out of their mouth and you're speaking it back to them. We actually have a audience clarity worksheet for this to find your ICP, to make sure that your personal brand is actually relatable, it's specific, and it's targeted to these ideal clients. Now, if you want the worksheet along with this entire document, you can go to my Instagram, you can DM me, and I can just send you the worksheet from there. Once you have your ICP and your full understanding of who you are actually trying to talk to, who you're trying to reach, this research will give you the raw data that you need to be able to speak their language, not just yours. So what you need to look at are competitors, frequently asked questions, sales objections, limiting beliefs, and of course, your unique take when it comes to creating the content. Now, we start off with the competitors or people you take inspiration from. With regards to doing the research for this, don't just take from your niche. If it works, study it, replicate it, and do it for yourself. You can use vidIQ to be able to find outlier videos similar to the screenshots here. If If you can see here, we have 100x, 24x, 61x, and the 95x. And vidIQ actually shows that beside the video. You're able to instantly see just from the homepage how well is that video performing based on the channel. Compared to how many views they usually get, this will take the outliers from the average. And you can also use oneof10.com. It is a website that finds outlier videos for you. You can have filters to be able to get these outlier videos in different niches and essentially just compiles it all for you in one place. One of 10 is a paid platform, vidIQ is not. So if you want to do this manually, you can just go to the people who you want to research from, your competitors or people you take inspiration from. You go to their channel, you click videos, and you click on the popular tab. This will pull up the best performing videos on their channel, and you're able to compile that into a Google Sheet or a Notion document. Once you have your set of competitors, I suggest getting 3 to 5 channels and get 3 to 5 videos from each channel. You're gonna take the thumbnail, the title, the hook, the pacing, or the video idea, and actually try to dissect which factor contributed to the success of the video. After you find their video success, you should use it within your next video. Duh, no shit. But it's the dissecting the video that actually takes a bit more time. Compiling the videos, looking for the outliers is pretty easy. It's finding out what part of that video actually made it blow up. That's when you start looking a bit deeper. Is it the hook? Is it the title? Maybe their thumbnail was very well designed to where it builds enough curiosity for the people to click. Find out why that video succeeded and you take it for yourself. After you do your competitors and your inspiration research, you do your frequently asked questions. There's actually 2 ways to do this. The first is just cold hard research. So you look at Reddit, community pages, school groups, anything that is connected to your niche and where you can find your people. You can also look at LinkedIn for this. Basically, just look at what people in your niche just always seems to ask, even though it keeps getting answered. We have an editing community who is looking how to actually color grade. So that's something you can do if you are teaching video editors. This is another person within a YouTube growth community and they are getting 0 views, right? That is quite a pain point. And you get all of these frequently asked questions, even just very big pain point questions. Take all of that and put that into your list. That is the first way of doing your frequently asked questions. Another way, which is the easier way and is actually probably gonna get you better results than just cold hard research, is if you already have an audience. Now, if you already have an audience, then your ideation is already done for you. Your DMs are full of questions. It's a gold mine. So they have a bunch of questions that they need answered. What you need to do is you can put up a story, just straight up asking your audience, what are they currently struggling with? And just let the video ideas start rolling in. So these are a few sample story sequences that you can start running. You can rip this straight up. You can get the copy, whatever you want to do with this. They are stuck. How can you help them? Let them ask away. And here's the thing, genuinely reply to them, answer it, and make a video afterwards. After that, you can also create a lead magnet based on the video suggestions that they gave you. So by creating a free lead magnet that is able to solve one specific part that they are struggling with, then you can upsell them, or they have that reciprocity with you to where they're interested into buying your product. You were able to get them from point A to point B, and it's time for you to get them to point C. After you're able to get the frequently asked questions, next are your sales objections. Everyone will regret not being able to close a sale, but these are actually a gold mine when it comes to looking for your next video idea. What you're gonna do, you're gonna pull up your last 5 to 10 sales calls that did not close. And regardless of the reason, you are going to take these sales calls and study them. If you're not recording your sales calls already, that's a big blunder. You can get Fathom to record your videos and actually take notes for you once you're on your sales calls. So make sure you get Fathom if you don't already. Once you pull up your last 10 sales calls, even if the call felt like it was a no budget or just a bad timing situation, make sure you dig deeper. Make sure you look for the actual objection that they had on why they weren't able to buy from you. Objections are usually often coded as excuses. So write them down word for word and look for these specific lines. Words like, I just don't know if this will work for me. I need to think about it. I've tried something like this before and it did not work. Sounds good, but I'm not ready to commit. What you do, you grab all of those objections, you categorize them, into what the actual objection is, what was the feeling behind those words, and how can you overcome those objections within your content. So this is a breakdown of a few examples within the context of having a content agency. These are the objection categories and these are the phrases that they said. What if this doesn't work for me? That's essentially just them doubting or the risk that comes with content, burnout or overwhelm. There's so many things to do with content. So if content felt like a chore for you, then this is for you. Overcoming that objection. They have no time. How to create a month's worth of content in just one weekend. Sounds familiar. No results. If they're not getting any results from the content, once again, they've done it. They've tried content before. It just didn't work for them. You show them why their content isn't actually converting. And there are times that they just don't think that you're the right person for them. What you need here is a ton of social proof. So if you've done it before, either for yourself or for others, then you just break that down in a video. So a video like, here's how I scaled this coach 6 figures using this content strategy. Having multiple videos that show your authority and your social proof. Anyone who's watched that video no longer needs to think if you are the right person for them. It's more so, can they actually afford you or can they actually work with you? So you're going to come up with different objections. Basically, your content should pre-handle these objections. Once they're on the sales call, all you need to do is take their order and give it to them. From there, you actually write content that will neutralize the objection without sounding offensive. Now, the goal here is that you're not trying to convince them. Okay, all you're trying to do is to educate them, to show that you understand the hesitation behind it, but you already have the proven answer, which is within your content. What this also does for you is if you're not used to doing sales calls, not really the best salesman out there, then this will teach you to overcome these objections once you're on the sales call. So that's that extra layer that comes with creating content like this. So this is what we call your content compass. This is the very foundation of what you will create content from and where you will be pulling your ideas. Step 2 is actually your ideation or your idea blueprint. Now, once you've collected all of those insights, you feed that into AI. Now, don't expect ChatGPT to create magic on a blank piece of paper. The more specific your input is, the more valuable your output is. So it's more about how well you create your prompts, how much information you give ChatGPT, how much context you give them in order for them to actually give you the best output. Here's what you plug in. Plug in your ICP based from the audience clarity worksheet that you did, their age, their profession, their goals, their fears, their objections, everything. You break it down and you give it to ChatGPT. You grab your unique offer. By now, you should have an offer on how you plan to monetize your personal brand. If you don't have that already, you have a video of that, which is where we use the reverse friction offer framework. You can click it over here, it's gonna pop up somewhere on the screen. If you don't have an offer yet, you should consider watching that video first and then coming back to this. Once you have your offer built out, you look at your top 3 competitors or inspiration, depending on how many creators you actually did your research on, and you take their videos, you take their transcripts of the videos, thumbnails of the videos, and you give all of that once again to ChatGPT. Any sales objections or frequently asked questions, any topics that you've pulled from the Reddit or the school groups, and of course, if you have any content that you have out already, you take all of your top performing content and you run that to your AI. Now, once you've fed all of that information, you can use this prompt to generate your topics or your ideas. Act as a content strategist based on the following ICP data and content research. You're going to give me 20 YouTube topics for this specific audience that will attract qualified leads to my specific offer. Once you have the topics generated, these are just ideas. Before you create any scripts, any hooks, anything related to the actual video itself, the words that you're about to speak, make sure that you ask ChatGPT or the AI that you're using, whether it be Claude or Poppy AI, to group those ideas by intent. What do you want those videos to do? What are the pillars behind these videos? Based on this research, organize all of the content ideas that ChatGPT generates into 3 to 5 content pillars that builds trust and attracts your ideal audience. You should have a bucket like this: objection handling, educational breakdowns, emotional or belief shifting videos, case studies, and authority proof. Once you have your content pillars, you should have it organized with each video idea, making sure that you have social proof, enough authority proof, enough objection handling, and you're able to track that properly within your content, that you're producing enough of each pillar. Now, this turns your ideas into an actual content system instead of just a list of videos that you're going to do. And you can plan it out depending on what your current position within the market is and what pillar do you need to start working on ASAP. Once you have a good baseline of your authority or your proof, that's when you can start shifting into the beliefs, the emotional, and your own personal story. You can do that while you're doing educational stuff and authority stuff. But if you have limited resources, you don't have much capital to invest in a creative director, into a VA, into an editor, and you're doing things on your own, then I suggest just focusing on authority for now, and you can build your character later on. Just because you're building authority or you're creating educational stuff, doesn't mean that you shouldn't let your personality shine through. You can still let your own quirks or your own words shine through within that content. It's just that you should be focusing on authority first if you're starting out. If you're a bit more matured within the niche that you're in, then that's when I suggest that you should start looking into showing your personality more and actually connecting with your audience. Now, after you have the entire pillars and your system set, then make sure that every content piece generated is organized, and you can do this through a Notion or a Google Sheet. We actually have a content tracker for this, and make sure that within that Notion or Google Sheet, you have all of your effective prompts, all of your ICP data and your voice training, and you have a running database of approved content ideas categorized by which pillar they go under. This can be within separate documents, but just having each and every step here, all of your prompts, all of your ICP data, all of your research, all of your approved content ideas for your content calendar. Once you have all of that, just organize all of it, make sure that it's not in some random file, and you're good. You have your idea blueprint up and running. That way, you or your team can actually plug in and just have ChatGPT generate usable strategic ideas on demand. After you generate everything with AI, you're not done yet. You should not film using those scripts yet, because step 3 is sound check. Sound check. Don't let that go over your head. That's a bar, bro. That's a bar. Anyway, this is where you make sure that your content or your scripts are actually aligned with how you speak. This is where most content creators who use AI actually start to fall apart, because it doesn't sound like you yet. That's exactly why everyone who uses ChatGPT to make their entire video sound exactly the same. I mean, these are the people who just generate a script, generate an idea, generate a thumbnail, and they just take all of that into ChatGPT. At that point, just start an AI automation YouTube business, because you're not original. You're just having ChatGPT be the content creator or be the business owner, and you're just the one who is regurgitating or just saying what ChatGPT is trying to say. So make sure that you're using ChatGPT as a tool and not the other way around. If you want content that doesn't sound like a robot, make sure that you follow each and every step here to the T. Now, in order to do that, you should gather 5 to 10 samples of your tweets, replies, long form content, or even spoken notes. Make sure that they actually show your tone, your phrasing, your pacing, and your personality. This will just make it all the more easier for you, as it's actually aligned with your day-to-day speak. Now, you can once again use this prompt to generate all of your content within that tone, within your specific voice, and this is what we call the voice training for your AI. Now, this is your AI baseline. This is the very, let's say, foundation of your scripts once they're generated. But once ChatGPT actually gives you the raw scripts, do not jump straight into filming. Look into getting a ghostwriter, and if you don't have the budget for that right now, then you can do it yourself. So your ghostwriter or you rewrite any clunky lines that don't really sound human. There's something about grammatically correct sentences that don't sound right. There are times that ChatGPT will generate those sentences, and if it's not in line with how you speak, just switch it out for yourself. Switch it out for how you would normally say that line. You should punch up any hooks, intros, or call to actions that sound a bit too salesy or that sound a bit too robotic. Make sure that these hooks, intros, or call to actions are actually driving your audience to take action or to continue watching your video. Swap in the words or the phrases that match your energy and your worldview. As I said earlier, if it is not in line with your day-to-day speak, change it out for something that you would normally say, and ensure that the logic, the tone, and the pacing actually matches how you would normally explain things. Now, if the content is being delivered on a camera, a no-brainer. If you are creating long-form content or content on YouTube, make sure that it matches your spoken tone, not your written tone. Now, a script that is written to read is not a script that is written to speak. Now, I want to explain this a bit further. We've worked with people who used AI-generated scripts before. Problem there is they have a harder time trying to record these scripts because they're just AI generated and they're not in line with their day-to-day speak. Because of that, we found that if they just don't have a script at all, they have an easier time. It's smoother. This is especially evident with people who are pros, people who are professionals within their niche, because they have a harder time being boxed down into the script. They'd prefer just having an outline to go over, and they can just riff and raff based on the knowledge that they already have. So depending on what you are familiar with or what you're used to, then you don't need to have a word-for-word script. You can have an outline which just goes over what you would prefer. But if you want a script, a word-for-word script, I suggest just getting a ghostwriter. Run through that script, make sure that it's aligned exactly the way you would say it, because it will make the time that you spend filming that much easier. The time you spend fixing the script is basically you paying in advance instead of you paying once you're in front of the camera, which is usually a much harder time. It's harder for most people to adjust in front of the camera instead of once they're just fixing a script. I wanted to put some emphasis on that because hiring a good ghostwriter will take a lot of time and money. Just finding the ghostwriter is gonna take you a lot of effort, but this will get you a massive ROI once again on your time and your money. It's just getting them in the first place that is the hardest. But once you find that ghostwriter who is able to write your scripts, write your captions, write your titles, write your newsletter, they are a crazy asset. I'm telling you, they are a crazy asset that will get you so much money, so much time saved that you wish that you found them earlier. So if you can start looking for them now, that'd be great. But if you can't, then do things on your own for now. Now, instead of retraining your AI every single time, make sure that you actually build a voice DNA document. Aside from the samples earlier, this should include the following. This should include your catchphrases or signature phrases that you commonly say, words that you never use, and words that are commonly generated by AI. Tone preference. Are you a sarcastic prick? Are you blunt? Are you warm? Are you kind? Are you stoic? How do you deliver your words? How do you deliver your voice? Make sure you put that into your voice DNA so that ChatGPT can actually incorporate that within the scripting. Your call to action style. Is it a direct pitch? Is it a subtle pitch? Is it you casually going about? Or is it just you directly selling to your audience? And both have their own, let's say, benefits. Both have their pros and cons. But which one is more aligned with you and which one is more aligned with the brand that you're building? Alongside that is real examples of before and after ghostwriting. Once AI has generated your script and once your ghostwriter or once you've revise that script, you give AI both of the before and after, and you tell it to look at how you change the words, have it analyze it and incorporate it into the next time that it generates a script for you. Once you have a voice DNA, this actually makes it scalable for you and for your future team. And repeat this enough times, soon enough, content will actually sound like you on your best day, even if it just started as a ChatGPT prompt. Have ChatGPT learn your voice so well from the initial prompt, you can actually start posting that or start working off of that, then that is a crazy time saver for you as well. After you're able to actually be more aligned with the script that you've created, this is your step 4, which is your filming flow. Before any cuts are made within the content that you create, you should have an entire system when it comes to how well that you record. There are a lot of things that make editing a chore for your team. Give them an easier time. Make sure that the raw footage that you give them is easy to work with, because this will give you better content. This will have them spend less time editing, and this will get you to be more efficient with your content workflow. Now, great editing actually starts with your great input. So this is a checklist that you should follow before you even press record. Now, first things first is the audio. The amount of people who mess up their audio. Give your editors so much more work that they need to do. They need to clean up that audio. They need to remove any of the noise, any of the background noise, any of the sudden highs and lows of your mic. And that's just an extra layer of work that they did not need to do if you just made sure that your audio sounded good. So you can use a lav mic or a shotgun mic. Make sure that it is not your laptop mic. The only time that a laptop mic might do the work is if it's a MacBook Pro. I don't really know any other laptops that have a decent mic, but if you have a mic, please use it. Once you have that on lock, make sure that you record in a quiet space as well with minimal echo. Having curtains or rugs within your room will help. If you have a soundproof room to record in, all the better. Also, do a 5-second test recording before every shoot. Please do this. This has happened to me before. I recorded a full video. I forgot to turn on this mic right here. I was actually recording through the camera's built-in mic, and I had to retake that. It was just a 10-minute video, but it was still a struggle because yeah, just don't do what I did. Make sure that your audio is actually synced up. Make sure that your mic is actually on. And an optional is, of course, record backup audio using your phone or a second mic just for safety. If you have your iPhone with you, you can have it recording. And it's not going to be with the same quality, but it's just nice to have that as a backup in case you don't have time to reshoot the same way that I had to. Second is your lighting and your framing. Now, make sure that you are facing a light source, ideally a natural light or a softbox. If you don't have one, then consider investing into one. If you really can't invest into one, then that's perfectly fine. Just make sure that the background is actually simple and intentional. There is no clutter. In a general sense, this is, I'd say it's subpar. It's not really optimal. It's good enough, but could be better, 100%. So if you can try and get a better background that is simple and intentional, then have that do that. This just gives you a bit more, let's say, personality. But there are times that it would be better if it was a blank background or something a bit more professional, but this gives you a bit more of the homey vibe. So depending on what you're trying to go for, then do that. Of course, frame yourself centered and follow the rule of thirds depending on each platform. So this is long form. If it's possible, have a screen that shows you the way you look in front of the camera. And if it's possible, have the rule of thirds actually open up where it's showing if you're centered, whether you're on the lines, have your eyes on the top line here. That's ideal when it comes to framing yourself in front of the camera. And I think I mentioned it already, but make sure that your lines match up through the lens and not the actual screen. But if that's not possible, then just make sure it lines up with the highest line here. Just have it line up there and it will look natural. It looks like you're actually looking in front of the audience if you have your face turned to the camera. And number 3, run through the script. If you can run through the script, try to read it out loud at least once before you film. It helps you to make sure that there are less retakes when you actually press record. You don't need to do this directly before you film. You can do this like an hour before, like 2 hours before, just so you're familiar with the flow of the script, the words that are used within the script, even if it's aligned with how you speak. It's still much better if you've practiced at least once, you've done a dry run, and you identify the parts where your energy naturally dips, or it just feels stiff when you say the sequence of words within the script. So you can actually revise that right then and there, have it changed out just to make sure it's a bit more natural once you're there. You can also add small notes for intonations, pauses, or hand gestures. You can do this for call to actions or your intro. I don't think you necessarily need this throughout the entire video as long as you're used to using your hands to communicate. If you're not, then this might help you, but I guess I'm a bit more used to just actually using my hands to flow with the words. I don't really need this, but if you do, then adding this into the script will help you. And if possible, as I said earlier, have a dry run or rehearse with someone. If you have a creative director, run through the script with them so you can actually work on any spots that you need to improve. And this is a little bit of a tip, but if you stumble within your words mid-recording, make sure that you pause. You don't need to pause the camera. You just need to pause yourself and restart from the previous line. Do not start from the words that you jumbled. I've made these mistakes. I am still making these mistakes. I've probably made these mistakes while recording this video, but it's best for you to pause and restart with the starting line instead of where you actually messed up with, so that it doesn't show your mistake at all. It helps with post-production. It gives your editor an easier time. Your audience will not see. There are times you can show it in the content, but there are just going to be times where you jumble up your words so bad that you cannot keep it in. So if that happens, start from the previous line. Number 4, make sure that you actually organize your footage. A messy recording folder slows down everything in post. It gives you a harder time, it gives your editor a harder time, and it's so much harder to use these videos at a later date. So once the video is done and you need B-roll or you need some clips from your previous videos, you're gonna have a harder time finding them if it's not organized. So what you should do is you create a folder per batch recording. And inside these folders, you create one for each video. So let's say you batch recorded 4 videos, you create batch number 1, and within that folder, you create a folder for each video. Video 1, video 2, video 3, video 4. And within there, it's best if you can actually rename the video files as well. Number 5, this is optional but very powerful when it comes to being consistent with your content. It is to build a recording ritual. This allows you to stay consistent with your batch recording days. And you can do this by using the same setup within the same location. You should create a pre-shoot checklist that you should check off the day before, making sure that your camera is ready, your mic is charged, the background is actually set, and you block off 2 to 4 hours for a maximum, and I'm saying a maximum of 5 to 10 videos. That is with short form. If you want long form, keep it to 4 videos a day. Doing more than that will burn you out. By the time you're recording the 5th video, or the 6th video, or the 7th video, your energy has dipped so much that it's a terrible video. Your intonation, the way you deliver, it is gonna come out so bad. Keep it to 4 videos. And of course, keep water and energy nearby. So water and energy, basically water and food. The amount of times that I had to leave my recording setup to grab some water for me to drink, and then I have to sit back down and start recording, I am out of my flow state. I'm out of being locked in with the batch recording. So in order for you to avoid breaking that flow state and actually being locked in on recording, keep a bottle of water and I guess a few snacks with you, just to make sure that when you need it, you can actually access it pretty quickly. So this is an example of how I structure my batch recording days. By the afternoon, I am already recording, and after that, I will have a post-production team meeting, which we will be going over now. Now, batch recording is how you're able to create content for weeks in a single afternoon. And all you need to do is to actually set up an efficient editing pipeline to make sure that the batch recordings that you created, all of the footage, is actually turned into the final product. And now we have step 5, which is the post-doc. Now this is about building a workflow where your ideas actually become assets for you without getting stuck in the weeds. Now, you start off with a creative direction meeting after you record. Before your team actually touches a single frame, you set the vision. Meet once every batch cycle. So here's what you discuss within the creative direction meeting. Are there any changes within the tone or the style? What are you pushing within the videos that you created? Is it a new offer? Is it a new idea? Is it just you trying to go back to your previous offer and market it for more? Walk through your content calendar and of course your priorities. Which one of these videos should be posted first? So based on the time that they are supposed to be posted on, that is the first thing that they're going to be working on. And if you're going to give them directions, make sure that you use concrete examples or inspirations to take from. So I want this one to feel like a Daniel Dalen vlog. It gives them a point of reference that they can actually take and incorporate into your videos. Now, as a tip, you should also record this meeting. You can use Fathom once again if you use it for your sales calls. And your team can actually replay this once they're starting to edit these videos. Alongside this, you should have standard operating procedures for your editors or your creative team, because clarity is king. Don't just tell them to make it look cool or to edit the videos just to have something to post. Instead, build a simple SOP that covers all of your brand guidelines and of course the style that you're looking for. So the hook guidelines: fast pacing, bold text, punchy within the first 5 seconds. Your brand style, your fonts, your colors, your lower thirds, the music that you kind of use, the vibe that you're trying to go for. Content rules: should there even be background music? Should you be humorous within the content or should it be serious? Is it 4K? Is it 1080? Is it vertical? Is it horizontal? Where should we place the captions? What should we name the file? Having more clarity on what they should do, having more details laid out, then they have less time to actually guess on what you want and you get exactly what you want. So this helps both you and your editors to actually do the best work that they can. And this is a sample of our editing SOP. This doesn't go everything. This was just the top 3. But if you want the sample SOP, once again, just DM me on Instagram and we will update you if we have an automation for this. You can check the description. I'll mention it in the comment section as well. But in general sense, just follow me on Instagram and we'll keep you updated on once we have these SOPs up and running. So you can use a Google Doc, a Notion document as well. We use the Notion document for this one, and possibly a Loom walkthrough as well that you can add into that editing SOP that you can give to your editor. This also makes it where it's structured. If you onboard a new editor, they can just look at this document and they know what to do. They have a good idea of what you are going to be expecting from them. This will save you hours and hours and hours of all of the back and forth when it comes to talking to your editors. So this allows them to just give you their best work. And from there, you should create a feedback loop and a review loop. This is where most systems break. Don't just accept the edit that they make. Make sure that you guide it and you use tools like Frame.io so that you're able to give them timestamp feedback. If you have a new editor, make sure that you review their videos a bit more thoroughly. You review their first 2 to 3 edits a bit more tightly, and this will set the tone on what you are looking for. Now, you should give constructive or concrete directions, not just vague notes, right? Instead of "this feels off," what do they do if you say that this feels off? Make the captions pop more, make the captions slower, or make the captions faster. How does that happen? Make it more concrete. So instead of making it pop more, just say that add an effect for this, add a glow effect, add a drop shadow. If you want the captions to be a bit slower, tell them to just add a few more words within the caption so it doesn't disappear as fast. By being more concrete, instead of being vague like "this feels off," you're able to get exactly what you want, and the editor no longer has to guess what you want. This is why clarity is so important when it comes to handling a team. Communication is something that you should put first and foremost when it comes to having the directions for your videos. And this is a pro tip. Don't just put revisions, actually compliment what you liked about the edit. So this is actually from Caleb Ralston. He is the creative director or the mind behind Gary Vee and the Hormozi's personal brands. And after hearing that, that was actually pretty intuitive, but is something that a lot of people don't do. You should be complimenting what you liked about a video so that your editor can continue doing what you like, right? They're not just, okay, I need to change another one, I need to change this, I need to change this. All you're doing is you're pummeling them down, making them feel like maybe our lifestyles just aren't aligned if you don't give them any compliments, or if you don't reaffirm which parts of the video they actually like. And the better you reaffirm the things or the concepts or the factors that you like within the video, then they're able to replicate that and do that for the next videos that they edit. Over time, your team will learn your voice and the precision that you want, and it all becomes automatic. You no longer need to even tell them anything. All you really need to discuss at this point is the broader things, more of the subjective, is this better design kind of questions, instead of objectively bad or misaligned editing. So what you need to do here is you don't need to micromanage, just coach for alignment. Make sure that your brand is aligned with your editors, with your creative team, and just let them execute, let them rip. These people are professionals, they're good at what they do. You just need to give them the space to do it. And the bonus step is to train them on your thought process, right? Once a month or every few batches, you should hold a quick calibration call. This is where you gather all of your creative team, all of your post-production team, grab your content team, and you show them what's working. Show them, all right, this is our outlier. If you have a creative director or strategist to do that for you, then have him lead the call along with you. You share what content you personally liked and what didn't hit, and you remind them of your company's mission, your ideal client, and why this content actually matters. What is the purpose of the videos that you are creating? You're not just creating videos to create videos. There is a reason behind that, and you remind them what that reason is. So an aligned team doesn't just follow instructions, they actually make your content much better over time. And step 6, this is the final step. This is the signal scan. You are looking for the signal and avoiding all of the noise. Now, most people actually judge content based on likes or views, but that's not it. You're a business owner. You should judge it based on leads, the replies, the DMs, the engagement, and the conversion. Because at the end of the day, you're a business owner, not a content creator. So this is what you should be doing if you're looking to find the signal that drives your business to growth. First things first, you need to start running controlled tests. This is your A/B testing, where you try one variable at a time. Now, you don't need to go viral here. You're not trying to look for virality. Right? Virality is just an afterthought. It's not the very thing that you're trying to go for. What you need to do is to actually look for what works in the context of your business, what is driving conversions, what is getting you the most qualified leads, and why. Why is it working? If you understand that, you can replicate it. So what you can do here is you can try the same formats with a different hook. Just make sure that you find out what hooks actually work and what gets them to actually stop scrolling. You can look at the same delivery but a different messaging. Just make sure what actually drives more leads when it comes to your ICP, what form of messaging is in line with them, what is the language that they speak. You can try the same idea with a different tone. Just see what feels more aligned with you, with your delivery, with how you speak in your content. Now, to give you an example, we actually run the same video format 3 times, and the first one popped off. It got more than 1,000 views. The other 2, not so much. We found that the video that got more views had a hot take. So we found that the real driver there was the video idea, the video concept. That was the real driver. But what we did, after you find out what after you find what works, you double down on that. You do not need to reinvent the wheel every single week. Once you find something that is working wonders for your business, you can turn that video into a series. You can reframe that idea for a different platform. If it's on YouTube, you create videos for your Instagram with the same idea. You can clip it up, or you can film an entirely new video for Instagram. You can create a video that pop up on Instagram and create that into a tweet or add that to your newsletter. Have it fall down into the different forms, different platforms for your content. You can run the same angle with a new hook. So you can actually do this with Instagram. Once again, there is a new feature called trial reel. Run the same video with a different hook, and this allows you to do 2 things. It allows you to test out different hooks with an already proven video, and this gets you to send out the same message within that video to a broader audience, which is an audience that isn't following you already. So that is what you can do with your trial reels. And of course, you can drop that script and change it once again into a carousel, an email, or a tweet on different platforms. LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, X, Twitter, or whatever you want to call it, Threads. You can have the same video and you can create 10 or more assets for your company, for your business. Number 2, you should track the leads and not the views or not the likes. Me personally, I would rather take 10 qualified leads over 1,000 followers any day. And you can do this by making sure that you track based on the leads that you generate. So you should set up your backend like this. You should add UTM parameters, or essentially link tracking. This shows how many people are actually clicking the links that you are providing. You should create a DM automation. You can use ManyChats for that, and you should hire setters in order to convert the people who are engaging with your content and the people who are interested within your lead magnets, and have your setters nurture them within the DMs to book a call with you and eventually close them within a sales call. And then you should track all of your DMs, all of your emails, all of your calendar bookings through a CRM. If you don't have a back end to take all of your leads and make sure that your content is working, then you should probably hit pause on all of your content and build this out. Either you build this out yourself or have someone else build this for you, because you're missing out on a lot of sales. You're missing out on a ton of sales. If you do not have a good back end, you are not capturing or you're not utilizing the reach that you're getting. The attention that you get isn't getting converted into cash. And that's a big problem for any business. So make sure that your backend is actually dialed in. And from there, you should ask every lead and usually every client how they actually got to you, how they found you, why they decided to buy your program or your service. And from there, this gives you the signal, not noise. This gives you exactly what you need to double down on, because it was able to get this person to join you. If it was able to get them, who's to say that it won't get somebody else who is in a similar situation to him? Once you have your backend, once you're tracking your leads, you should also track your content itself. So you can build a simple content tracker. You don't need to overthink this. A Google Sheet or a Notion board is enough, and you should track your content based on the title, the post date, the video goal, and of course the call to action and the engagement metric. And by having your content all in one place, you can find the patterns within your content, which videos are performing, which aren't. And from there, you can once again recalibrate through a monthly audit. Now, every 30 days, you should look at what content drove the most business results, what got you the most sales, what got you the most conversions. From the videos that actually flopped, you should learn why they didn't land. You studied. The assumption here is you've put in a good amount of work and effort into that video. So the reason why it didn't land, you should try to study what is the problem there and to make sure that you avoid it within the next uploads that you create. You should also decide what to get dropped and what gets more resources. So after auditing all of your flops and your successes, you should drop obviously all of your flops, and you should invest more resources into the things that drove the business result. Essentially, you are treating your content like a sales team. They are doing the sales for you 24/7. If it performs, make sure that you promote it, you do it more, you create more videos like that. But if it doesn't, you try to retrain it, look for different angles, look for different ways to communicate that video. And if it still doesn't work, then it might be time to retire that video. Content isn't just about growth, okay? It's about building trust at scale. When you follow the system from start to finish, you stop chasing content and you just let the content start working for you. Now, this was a lot. But if you are able to implement each and every step here to the T, then I can guarantee you that you will get your next client within the next 60 to 90 days, probably less if you already have a bit of content out already, and all the best to you. Also, if you're struggling to actually implement this for yourself, then we can actually do that for you. That is what Azure Media does. We take your content problems and we take it off on our shoulders and we actually provide the content for you, your whole A to Z. If you're interested in that, be sure to book a call down below. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.